Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Bismillah walhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah amma ba'd. A 13-year-old young man goes home and quite unexpectedly tells his father, "My father, I'm gay." 13-year-old Muslim boy in a Muslim country, by the way, not here, in a Muslim country, goes home and tells his father, "I'm gay." Now the father goes frantic. What? Cannot understand what just happened. And we can all, as parents, really understand what's going on in the mind and the heart of this father. And the father reacts. "No, you can't, haram, how dare you, etc., etc." And it's back and forth. "No, I'm gay. It's how I want to identify." Again, in a Muslim country. And they go back and forth. The father can't seem to reach the mind of this young man. So he goes to a well-known individual in the region and says, "This is my case. My son randomly came home and started saying, 'I'm gay, I'm gay.'" So they speak to him. And what this individual, who is educated in Islamic law and in Islamic disciplinary measures, asks, he wants to understand, where is this coming from? He puts aside the fact that this individual is saying something that we don't believe in, but he wants to know where this is coming from. So in regular conversation, in calm conversation, he finds out that this young man, number one, has no idea what homosexuality really means. He doesn't know what he's talking about. 13-year-old. But what he ends up finding out is that he is now saying he's gay. Why? Because his teacher, who's from a Western country, identifies as gay. And this young man looks up to his teacher as a role model, not to his father. You see, in our times today, the father, the parent, and maybe I said this a few days ago, the father and the mother, they no longer have this automatic authority, automatic influence upon their children. That's gone. It's not the era we live in. Rather, they choose who they want their role model to be. And they choose based on what they see as acceptable. Yaqeen Institute did a very, very important study to understand why Muslims, or why people who are born into Islam leave Islam, or why they begin to doubt Islam. And do you know what the number one, in fact, the top 4 reasons were? Not the top 1, the top 4 reasons had nothing to do with liberalism, had nothing to do with aqidah, issues of theology, had nothing to do with the status of women in Islam, the status of, and the fact that there were slaves and all of this stuff. The top 4 had to do with the behaviors of Muslims. How Muslims behave. I see my aunt, my uncle, this Muslim, I go to the masjid, and the behaviors simply aren't on par with good akhlaq, good manners. And so Muslims are no longer the role model of this individual. Rather, their role model is that very pleasant teacher, or that very well-spoken celebrity, or that very charismatic whoever. And we lose this authority of being a role model in the lives of our children. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in the verses that were recited? وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ خَرَجُوا مِنْ دِيَارِهِمْ بَطَرًا وَرِئَاءَ النَّاسِ وَيَصُدُّونَ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. Don't be like those who exit their home all boastful, and they're showing off, and the result of their behaviors is that they divert people from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you see how this verse and this study that I just mentioned are really going hand in hand. When we don't behave like Muslims, our children no longer want to be Muslims. When we don't follow the character of the Prophet ﷺ, our children no longer are interested in having the Prophet ﷺ as their role model. And this is a tough task. How can I be a role model for my children? It's tough. But what I can say is the following. And also the verses that were recited, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what does He say? وَأَلَّفَ بَيْنَ قُلُوبِهِمْ. Allah brought hearts together. He made the hearts of the companions love the Prophet, as He made the Prophet ﷺ love the companions. And so you have Allah to assist you in this. And Allah gives us the very beautiful dua in the end of the 25th chapter. رَبَّنَا هَبْ لَنَا مِنْ أَزْوَاجِنَا وَذُرِّيَّاتِنَا قُرَّةَ أَعْيُنٍ وَجَعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. O our Lord, make our spouses and our children the apples of our eyes. And as scholars have mentioned, that means they turn out to be, mashallah, very good people. And so we ask Allah to help us in this endeavor. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us patience and give us tawfiq. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen.